You know what's the great part about making these videos? I only get one take. So if I mess up, I just kind of have to live with it, which is kind of my style. So we'll be making masala potatoes today. What I'm gonna do is take mini potatoes and boil them, add baking soda, roast them, and then add them to a tadka to add the spices. So I'm gonna show you how to get a lot of salt flavor into the potatoes itself, how to get it roasted in the oven. You can kind of prepare this early on and then at the final stage, prep them with the tadka to just warm them up again. So this is gonna be a pretty quick recipe. It just has multiple pieces to it, but I'll kind of walk you through how to get this done pretty quickly. So we have a pound of potatoes. We're just gonna cover with water. And once it's covered with water, this is gonna take about probably 15-20 minutes. We're just gonna let it boil over, simmer at a certain temperature. We're not gonna make them really soft because we're gonna roast them in the oven to get the skin crispy. We're not gonna roast them, so that's gonna take care of it. We just want them to get them fork tender. So once you put a fork to it, it's just pokeable. When they're gonna put it into a pot and just bring that up to a boil and then bring it down to a simmer after that. And the best way to get salt into potatoes, because what really usually happens is when you're eating a potato, the salt flavor just doesn't come through, is when you're boiling them, just add a lot of salt in there. Potatoes they absorb a lot of salt. If you have a salty dish, you throw some potatoes in it and then that will absorb it. This is kind of like where I've always failed at making really good potatoes, is that it's just never salty enough and you're trying to salt it from the top. This way you get it really imparted through itself. So this is kosher salt. I did about 4 big pinches of it. We're just gonna let it go at this point, bring it up to a boil, and then simmer it. So we'll get back to that once that's at that point. 5 minutes in right now. You can do a quick check if you want, just to see if it's tender. This is going through. I'll give it another couple of minutes, but before what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna throw a little bit of baking soda in there. And what the baking soda is gonna do is gonna add a bunch of little nibs around the skin. So when you roast it up, it's gonna make that crunchier. That's just a small touch. You don't need to add this, but it's an optional choice. So right now it's simmering. It's almost fork tender. I'm gonna let it go for 3 more minutes. Then we're gonna cool it down and then start the roasting process. 12 minutes. These are pretty soft and tender to go. If you take them too far, they'll break down way too fast. So next thing, we just wanna drain this out. This is pretty hot, so make sure you use a towel. What you're actually gonna do is just shake it up in the pot itself. And what it's gonna add, again, little edges on the potato, so when you start roasting it, that has more surface area to crunch up. This is a kind of a version of Jake Henji's best potatoes ever. I'm kind of just changing it up a little bit. So again, just keep shaking it until it gets pretty broken down. Up. So you can see kind of like it's breaking apart. So it might take a couple of shakes. If you have something rougher you want to throw it through, just do it that way. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna let it cool in here and set your oven to 450 to heat up. So while the oven starts heating up, this will get cool enough to handle. So after that, we're gonna add the first batch of spices and oil for the roasting process. So I had my first technical difficulty while making these videos. I forgot to hit record. So what I did with the potatoes, I put them into the aluminum pan. I had my oven set at 450. I sliced all the big ones into about equal sizes. These are pretty soft right now. Toss some olive oil, some chili powder, about half a teaspoon of cumin, and like 1/4 teaspoon of garam masala. You can add more spices as you want. It's at 450, the oven's at 450. We'll toss it in there for about 10 minutes and it should roast up, get crispy, crunchy, and then we're gonna hit it with the tadka at the end of it. All right, so the potatoes are ready. It's really hot in here. So you can see they got pretty crunchy. They're a little bit harder. They're really hot to handle. So what we're gonna work on next is the tadka. We're gonna warm up a pan. I'm gonna do a little bit of olive oil for it. You can do ghee, whatever fat you want, really. Just gonna get this started to warm up. What we're gonna put into that, what you do with the tadka is you kind of pretty much are making like a really quick chili oil. Kind of the best way I think I could explain it. There's a little science behind it. We can get into that later. But we're just making a really quick chili oil. I have garlic, some pepper. I'm gonna do mustard seed, some chili peppers, and probably a little bit more chili powder. Just gonna chop it in there. I'll walk you through how to get that done. So I'll just chop up the garlic. And the best way to cut up a garlic is just press it down so you can kind of get the peel out of it fast, because it's like the worst part. Since we're just chopping up anyways, it's not too big deal of how much damage you do to it. I'm just gonna kind of finely slice it up. I'm not gonna try to go too finely chop or use some fancy technique on it. Just all just to get fried up in the oil. Do some Thai chili peppers. Slice this up. And if you don't have Thai chili peppers, you can use the jalapeno, serrano, whatever you have. Again, kind of you're just building up recipes with whatever you have in the pantry or in the fridge. It's kind of just how I make up a lot of the recipes that I eat. It's just like, hey, what do I have today? And I'm gonna just combine all of this and just pass it through one more time. So yeah, most of the time when I'm cooking food, I just kind of like open up my fridge or in my pantry and see what's in there. I was like, all right. And I watch a lot of videos, and so it kind of gives me all these ideas, and I just kind of bring them all together. And usually I find out something that I like, and if I like something, I'll make it often. If I don't, I'll never make it again. And sometimes I make things that I really like that I'll never ever make again, just because I don't have all the ingredients ever on hand again. All right, if you want to test if the oil is a little spicy, just drop in there. So we're gonna wait a little bit and do the oil's heated up now. What I'm gonna do is put a little bit of some mustard seeds in there. Once that starts popping, you know that's ready. And I don't measure things, so probably a 1/4 teaspoon of this. I'm just gonna throw a couple of red chili pepper flakes in there itself. These are just dried up chilies. Let's get it all heated. Minutes in, we'll take the chili peppers and the garlic, get that toasted in. So right as soon as we're getting the mustard seeds, we're gonna get this toasted up too. All right, the next step, we're gonna put the curry putties in there. Just drag out the leaves from the bottom, just toss it in there. This is when it starts popping usually. Once it starts hitting the oil, you kind of get it all mixed in there. And once it starts popping, you really have everything infusing in there. And then what we'll do is we'll toss in you don't want it to burn, so we'll toss in the potatoes next. It's very hot. And I'm gonna try to show you my pans. Couple overboard. But we have all these mixed in now. And this is just gonna heat up. If we really want it to be really hot, we're gonna get it fried up. But again, this is like pretty much the oil's gonna add flavor to the potatoes right on top, and then we'll just sprinkle it with a little bit of fresh pepper. This is really good. Let's do it a little taste test. Like a burst of spiciness, and the mustard seeds really hit. And curry putty leaves always add a ton of flavor. If you enjoyed this, I would love to see your rendition of it. And if you want to see more, like, comment, subscribe. Until next time. Oh, Naveed, do you want to try it?
Oh, yeah. Let's do it. I like it. Oh, it gets better. Like, the longer it's in your mouth, it gets better.
Nice.